right. Good
tonight.
evening. Those that were in the waiting room are in. We got a kind of a small audience today, but that's great. As you all know, this is being recorded and will be put up on the YouTube channel for everybody to see afterwards. Today's focus is going to be on Explore, if there are any questions. And then following that, we'll jump into any challenge questions that come up. On my screen, I got Brian Farrell on my left, head judge advisor, and of course, Jay Church on my right, head referee for our program. So let's just jump right in with some real quick things. Of course, we'll start with challenge. Why not? Big weekend. We had Mukwonago Regional. That was our largest regional of 36 teams. And then we had the Janesville Regional, which was also a relatively large tournament with 29. So between those two and everything preceding it, we already have 50 of the 80 spots assigned for the sectional tournaments. In fact, the Waukesha sectional is already set, pending a couple possible swaps from teams that want to go to a different tournament for specific reasons. For those teams that did advance, a reminder to please pay the $40 entry fee. It's just a one-time for advancing teams. There is not going to be another payment for the championship, so this will be the last one for the season. With regards to Mukwonago, I sent an email out to all the coaches. We just failed to put the dog tags in the kids' hands. I sent out a bunch of them today. If you did not pick up dog tags at the tournament when it was over and we made the announcement, please email me at fllteams.com, fllteams@badgerbots.org, and I will send them to you. All right, so that's the previous weekend we just passed. Both tournaments, really exciting vibe. We're more than halfway done. We've only got 4 regionals left: Brown County, Riverside, Madison, and Franklin. We still have a handful of teams that either are not event ready or have not paid the $170 entry fee to BadgerBots. Please take care of those. We got the Thanksgiving break coming up. That means, the calendar shrinks by a little bit, certainly for tasks that need to be completed. As I said, we've got 30 spots still remaining, so very exciting as we get towards the end of the regional program. All right, administratively from the challenge program, that's it for now. We'll get the questions afterwards. Moving into Explore. Most of the teams, at least those that registered, already know that we've narrowed the Explore events in the fall down to 2 events: Franklin Regional and the Waukesha Sectional. Franklin Regional, of course, is December 10th. So we'll have a festival at the same time. There still are spots available. Not many, but there are spots available if any Explore teams want to sign up. Please go to the newsletter. It has the link how to sign up and register for one of these Explore festivals. Waukesha, similar type setup. It's going to be at the sectional, but it's going to have its own space. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. The pits are going to be with the challenge pits. Is that correct? Or is that a separate space?
No, the plan is to put them in the cafeteria.
Very good.
It's not that far apart, so definitely would want the teams to go check each other out, but I think it might be kind of overwhelming for the
Understood.
Explore.
That was kind of the thought going into it, some advice that we got from some experienced Explore coaches. So both Franklin and Waukesha have space available for extra Explore teams. We need you to go to the link at in the newsletter to register if you want to participate. And those Explore teams also know there is a nominal $25 per team per event fee, just to cover some basic material costs for the hosts that are putting this on. And so that also needs to be paid, please. The Explore program also does get dog tags, and for what it's worth, they're on a black background, which actually looks pretty cool. Of the 4 different dog tags that we have, I kind of like the Explore the best. But anyway, just my own 2 cents there. All right, so if there are any Explore coaches on the call that have any questions, now the floor is yours. And once we're done, we'll move on to any challenge questions. So we'll give you a moment of silence until somebody steps up with the question, and we'll then move on.
Well, I was just going to ask, just so I know, how many more spots you have for January 21st?
Well, okay, good question. January 21st, we do have plenty of spots available. I believe right now it's at 6 or 7 teams. I just got the new download about an hour ago, so I'm not sure if anybody new has signed up. But we're limiting the capacity at 16. So, barring an influx of registrations, there's still space available.
Good to know. Okay, that's all I got.
Yep. And just to follow up, January 21st is the championship, the challenge championship. We are going to have an FLL Explore Festival at the same time at Madison College. So the whole concept is to, really make it a fun event with all kinds of chaos going in various directions, but hopefully a little, guided chaos. So we're using this as a model, hopefully for future years as well. All right, so any other Explore questions? Going once, twice. All right. So we'll open it up to challenge questions and issues, and I'll give Jay a chance to share any wisdom from the reffing perspective.
Whichever order we want to do. I have a little bit of wisdom, but not a lot.
All right. Well,
So-
lots been going on. So you might want to explain what happened in the Slack channel today, if you think it's worthy.
Well, no, we'll discuss that. I mean, we'll fix that. That's not a problem. So one thing I did notice at tournament that I wanted to share with teams, I'm not sure where it was coming from, but I had 5 or 6 teams. I'm basically saying this for the YouTube audience in case they're not here. I had 5 or 6 teams at the Janesville tournament come to me and ask me why they weren't scoring for the expert Anna being moved from one home base to the other. And I explained to them that that's not a scoring condition. And somehow a big percentage of that tournament believed that that's a scoring condition. So I obviously asked them, where did you see this? And they said, it's in the rule book. And I said, okay, I'm not sure it's in the rule book. And they said, are you sure? And I said, I'm pretty sure. So we broke out the rule book, obviously, as any kid, even if I know for sure, if a kid wants to see a rule book, we'll break out the rule book and show them where it is. It's obviously not there. I asked them, where on the score sheet are you scoring this? And when you guys do your runs, where's the option for scoring? And there is not one. So, yeah, basically it was kind of weird. I had not heard of that. So what I'm hoping is it was an isolated piece of bad information. I know they have a lot of teams that practice together there. So I'm hoping that maybe just a coach or a mentor, a shared coach or mentor, or maybe at their scrimmage was sharing that information to other teams. But just to be clear for everyone watching, there is no scoring condition this year for transporting something from one side to the other. I don't like to ever reference previous seasons because new teams this year don't have that knowledge. But I do think that's where this is coming from. So like the dinosaur mission from last year, there is nothing like that exists this year. So if you're watching and you guys are planning on doing that, that's not a scoring condition. And it's actually kind of compounded because if a team is planning on using their Anna with their pedestal and they're planning on moving it from one side to the other and then pushing the pedestal out, if they don't make that transition there, they're losing the option to put her out there as well. So just please read your rule book. Understand that that's not a scoring condition. The scoring zone for Anna is the museum, not the other side of the table. That's my knowledge. All right.
Brian, anything from the judging side?
Again, just a reminder that, make sure you look at the flow chart and the rubrics, practice your team on answering questions. It's always a good thing to do. And, we're watching fours this year. We're going to be getting, more aggressive at watching fours as well to make sure that they're properly categorized.
All right. Well, we'll open it up to any questions then from those that are on the call.
Hi, this is Sonia. I have a question regarding robot competition. Just want to triple/quadruple verify that there is no penalty if the team physically moves the robot from one home section to the other home section.
So by physically, you mean by hand picking it up and moving it?
Correct.
There's no penalty because it's not allowed. You can't do it.
Okay, so the robot has to move on the table on its own.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to get the robot from one side to the other. One is a transit program from one side to the other, obviously. You launch and stop it in the other one. Another way to get it over is to launch the robot just off into the middle of the field somewhere. Like if they don't have that transit program, as long as the robot and everything it's connected to is completely out of, say, the red area, right? Either side can then rescue the robot to the other side. It is a touch penalty for obviously touching the robot, but that is one way to get it to the other side. There's no way to hand the robot from one side to the other without losing a penalty. And technically, I mean, you can't even do it. So if it's sitting in red, you're not allowed to pass it over. It's not just a penalty and you can do it. You can't do it. So
Okay.
we won't let
Okay.
you do it. We'll make them put it back before they can launch.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions for a robot? Any questions for judging?
All right. I will make a pitch for judges for the Madison tournament.
Riverside as well.
I was gonna say, the other ones may need him as well. Well, go ahead, Brian. I mean,
I know Riverside needs them. I know Madison needs them. I don't know about Franklin. I can still use some at Waukesha.
Yeah.
The sectional. It's a great opportunity for coaches that maybe their season's over, or they're not going to be at those tournaments to sign up and learn the process and help us out. And coaches make good judges, so that helps both sides.
If you are a coach and your team has been eliminated from the tournament this year and you're not quite sure why, like why didn't we go further? What could we have done? And you plan on coaching next year, I absolutely highly suggest you volunteer to be a judge. I don't care where you volunteer to be a judge, but you really need to understand what the judges, how the judging room works, what they're looking for, how to read rubrics, how rubrics are scored. That's 75% of your entire tournament. So I'm not just telling you guys because we need volunteers. I say the same speech even from the beginning of the season. If you really want to understand what's going on, if you understand why your season, part of why your season may have ended earlier, and you're just not sure why. So you can kind of get a good insight of the judging side of things. So highly suggest that.
Well, it's not just that, but you also you may think your team is doing great on certain things,
Right.
but it also gives you a bigger picture of of how other teams are performing, and it kind of opens your eyes.
Yep. Well, I will say 100% true story. I recognized one of the coaches at the McGuanago Regional this past weekend, who I judged with last year at another tournament. He said his team was a rookie team. They didn't do very well, lots of ones and twos. Well, this year they advanced. Now, so a lot of that is because of the kids are a little older. They, a little more skillful, if you will. But I asked him, did the judging help you? And he gave me a big smile. So, enough said. It's a great way to get your team to the next level. Learn what happens in the judging room and what they're looking for.
And Emily put in chat, it's definitely a big game changer as a coach. I highly recommend it.
Emily and I had an identical type of, well, I think she was a little bit better coach to start with, but our situations were kind of the same. Where, I coached for probably 2 years and just, we did okay. We did all right. We advanced sometimes we didn't, right? But we thought we were doing great, and the kids were good, and the robot was good, and we thought our core values were good. And then one of the old judge advisors talked me into judging, and I was like, oh my God, this whole robotics world just changed. I mean, it's like, once you realize what they're looking for, I mean, they're giving you an answer sheet at the beginning of the season. They're giving you the rubric, and all you got to do is make sure you fill that out, make sure your team meets the criteria, and that's your answer sheet. So it's eye-opening. So definitely suggest it, guys. And thank you, Emily. I agree with you. It's definitely a game changer.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Anything else in the chat, Brian?
Nope.
Was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to start, try for judging, and you've only done Explore, how would you get started with looking at that?
If you wanted to judge at a challenge tournament,
For example, yeah. Or
Yeah.
would you not recommend that, or how do you even get started?
yeah. So, well, there's you don't necessarily need to be a reviewer for an Explore tournament. There is a rubric, but it's not really a judging process. But if you wanted to get involved with challenge, that would be awesome, because that's the logical next step. We went through this, I think it was last week, Brian went through it. Log in at firstinspires.org. Go to the volunteer, it's in the middle of that main dashboard. Search for whichever regional is left and sign up for to judge.
And honestly, you can sign up to be a reviewer as well for Explore. They may have some needs there as well. So
Yeah,
it's the same process. Signing up to ref or judge,
Yeah.
you go through that same process.
And so,
And you
Mike,
go to
sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Craig. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the differences is that Explore reviewers only need to be 16 years old. So we do have a lot of the FTC and FRC kids that are stepping up into that role. For the FLL Challenge judges, even though they say we can take 16-year-olds, I'm not real comfortable doing that. So we are asking 18 and above. So it does, limit our universe a bit. So go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I thought maybe you were going the same place I was. So, Mike, after you sign up there, so there is judge training through the portal as well. It'll give you judge training, and I don't know if there's supplemental stuff to that, Brian, or is there anything other than that, or is there anything day of or anything like that, or is it just the
We'll do some day of, but
Okay.
the big thing is there's assigned judge training that you need to go through. It's not overly burdensome. It takes like an hour. And we do work to pair you, as Emily put in the chat, we work to pair you with an experience.
That's exactly where I was going with that
judge.
one too. Yeah, I was
Do
gonna.
you
I was
need
gonna
to
say.
be?
Go ahead.
Do you need to be? Do you need to volunteer in order to get the training?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering if logistically, so I would have to have an actual event in mind, because I think we're going to be attending the Explore thing on the 21st. So I don't know what the timing would look like that weekend, and
Yeah.
we're
If
in
your
the
team is
Madison
there for
area.
Explore, we would say support your team through with Explore.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, but if
But there's
you-
other tournaments before then that, you know,
Right.
for Lego or for Challenge, as Craig said, there's December 3rd for Brown County, there's December 3rd Riverside, December 4th in Madison,
move it
December.
back a day. Move it back a day, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2nd and 3rd. I'm sorry, 2nd and 3rd. And then the 9th is Oak Creek Sectional. The 10th is Franklin's Regional, and then the 16th is Waukesha Sectional, and 17th is McGuanago Sectional. So there's still quite a number of events, most of them in southeastern Wisconsin.
Okay.
That'd be great. I mean, we need to get new judges to train them and just keep the cycle going so that we have a bullpen, volunteers to choose to get. All right. Anything else from either Emily or Mike, the last two on the call? If not, have a great holiday, everybody. And we'll be back on next Monday before the Brown County, Riverside. That's a busy weekend. Brown County, Riverside, and Madison. We'll be talking about Challenge on Monday, and I'll get as many of those tournament directors on the Zoom call as well. So, if nothing else, good night. Have a great holiday. We'll see you then.
Thank you, everyone.